Birmingham, London. Birmingham, England even. In Birmingham, England. And I heard of this guy, he was making gin in a pot still. So I called him up and I said, hi, my name is Jim McEwan and I'm a distiller in Scotland and I'm an old style pot distiller and I believe you're making gin in a pot still. He said, yes, I am. Why are you asking? I said, well, I was hoping maybe you could teach me how to make gin. He said, you must think I'm crazy. You're asking me to teach you to make gin. I would guess you're going to sell your gin. I said, yeah, I would like to sell it. I'm struggling for some cash. He says, I'm sorry. What you're asking is too much. It's crazy. You're asking me to teach you how to make gin and you're going to sell it and you'll be a competitor. I said, yeah, it looks that way. He said, sorry mate, I can't do it. You really must think I'm crazy. And I said, you must think I'm crazy. I said, that's a pity because I was going to bring down some boxes of very old vintage Bruichladdich single malt, just you know. He said, let me think about this for a minute, will you? So I said, okay, what you can do is come down for a couple of days and I'll show you. So, yes, I'm in like a flash. So I go down to Birmingham and I meet this lovely, lovely guy who's at the same age as myself. And as soon as I shake his hand, it's one of these handshakes, that a distiller to a distiller, you know what I mean? And I gave him the boxes of whiskey and he really loved me then. He actually loved me. And so I stayed with him for 2 days and I learned how to distill gin. Distillation is quite easy. It's what you do when you boil a kettle is you're distilling. So you should do some gin at home. Just do it at home in the kettle. It's quite easy. It's not a difficult thing to distill. Anyway, at the end of the second day, I was due to go back to Islay. And I went to say goodbye to Bob, the guy who was teaching me. He didn't teach me anything about botanicals. The whole secret of gin is the botanicals. Basically, you've got a neutral alcohol. And it's the botanicals that gives it these amazing flavours. So I didn't know anything about botanicals, apart from my own botanicals, which I was getting ready up in Islay. So I went to say cheerio to him on a Tuesday night, and he must have fallen in love with me, which is easy to understand. And he said, Jim, why don't you stay until the end of the week, and I'll show you some of how to use the botanicals, the juniper, the coriander, the lemon peel, the orange peel, the orris root, the anise seed, all that stuff. There's a lot of botanicals used in gin. So I stayed and he said, okay, this is what you do. And then he let me go in his botanical store. You can choose your own botanicals and we'll distill it and we'll see how it comes out. So I chose the botanicals for the botanist. I chose 10 botanicals, big botanicals. And I had the ones back in Islay. So we distilled it and it turned out amazing, really, really good. And he said, I would never have chosen these botanicals. I said, well, I've chosen them. And I would like to make the gin with these botanicals. Could you supply me the botanicals? He said, yeah, no problem. These botanicals come from all over the world, from India and Portugal and all sorts of places. So I had this desire to make the gin. I've got the recipe worked out. I go home and I get the old still going, which I call Ugly Betty. And I start distilling that. The Islay botanicals are not in the still. The neck of the still goes up, and it goes across, and the vapour comes up, it goes across, and in the neck of the still I've placed a special box where I put the botanicals from Islay, the dried flowers. So